the previous video, we saw how you inventory items in bulk. In this video, we'll go over how you do it for single items or specialty items. And these are items you want to inventory individually, typically because there might be an upcharge associated with it or they're of higher value. So to do it, you click single, and this brings you into single mode. And this works very similar to how you would do a tagged item on the regular Contents Pal. So just take a picture of the item. You can take additional pictures of the same item. So in this case, for example, if you wanted to record the brand or the material, you could even do the label if you want to. You don't have to, you could do it. And AI will use all of those to identify the item, find the replacement if needed, and find the right Xactimate code. So all I have to do now is hit done, and that's it. That would add the item to my inventory. You could also do this in multi-mode. So in this case, if I wanted to do 2 sweaters at once, so, let's say I wanted to inventory these 2 sweaters, you can do it. It works the same way as if you were doing multi-mode in the regular app. So you just hit multi at the bottom of the screen and take a picture of the items. And this will go ahead and add those items to your inventory. You can also add a label for this item. So again, this is optional. You don't have to do it like with hard contents, in which case we do force you to add a label code. But in this case, if you wanted to, you could. So just hit on label and scan a label, and that will associate it with the item. In this case, because I did it in multi-mode, the label is going to be associated with both items. But typically, if you only scan one item, it's going to be associated with that item. Additionally, if I were to now scan another item, it will still associate with this label because you see I'm in the single. I'm creating a single pack around that label. So just something to be mindful of, that if you're using labels, if you want to use it for a single item, just make sure you hit exit single. And then when you add the next item and you add the QR code, exit it every time. But if you want to share the QR code among the 2 items, just keep taking pictures for as many items as you want to be associated with that label. For garments, you may want to group multiple garments with the same label so that you don't have to have one per item. But again, it's an optional step at this point. And then in the inventory, you can see that the items are being identified and it's looking for the right codes and so on. You can see that they've been added to the right room. So here's the master bedroom. As I was doing the inventory, I had that selected here. Like in bulk mode, you want to make sure you select the right room as you're doing the inventory in your sorting facility so that those items are added to the right place. So here you can see the sweater. It identified the brand. It doesn't know the model, but it identified the brand. Gives you a condition, age, and so on. The typical you would get from Contents Pal normally, but it also gives you the upcharges for it, which in this case, it identified the brand. It identified it says a heavy sweater. It identified the turtleneck, and it gives you the Xactimate code. Again, if you don't like it, you can always switch it. So here, maybe you want to do a different one, but you get the different options, and it uses all the information you give it to do that. And here you can also see that based on the other picture, you can see that little icon at the bottom means that these 2 items, the pullover and the mid sweater, were both coming from multi-mode. That's why they're sharing the same label. And if you go on one of them, you could see this is kind of cropped. It's a cropped image based on the original one that we took. So this is the original image we took, but we crop it with AI to make it nicer. And when you're adding items in single mode, even if you don't use the label feature, on the custody tab, you will see a label created for those items. So in this case, I took one of the items that we did. Even if I don't add the label for it, you will still see a QR code or a label generated for it in the custody tab. You will see the item associated with it. We do this for tracking purposes. So even if you're not using the QR code, this gets added to your custody tab. But then if you do add a QR code to it, it will be associated with the right one. And that's what we did with the other item that we used the QR code for. So just something to be aware of. And the reason we add a label here automatically is so that you can keep track of it in the custody tab. And we add this to the estimate as well.